Hi guys, welcome to Investing with JYK, and today we'll discuss a little bit about Tesla's cash flow just before um, the Q2 earnings release. So Q2 earnings will be released in about 36 hours-ish. So uh, this what we're looking at is the Q1 cash flow statement. You can see that cash flow from operating activities is about negative $400 million, helped by the increase in accounts payable. So remember, when you have an increase in accounts payable, you are holding back cash that you otherwise would have paid to your suppliers. So you're just um, owing things to your suppliers, basically. So that was basically the same as inventory. So assuming this can go on, that means Tesla would need to come up with, if they were to get operating cash flow to zero, a break even, they would need to come up with $400 million. So one way that can be done is if you make $10,000 cash, i.e. excluding depreciation, $10,000 cash per Model 3, because that is the incremental change, because everything else is kind of stable. S and X are not particularly increasing. The sales are not increasing. They might be even going down, but M3 is going up dramatically. So if they're able to sell, say, 40,000 additional M3s at 10K per 10K cash per car, then maybe they would make this go to zero. But two things. We don't know if they can make 10K cash per car. I don't think it's particularly likely, given how wasteful they are with the amount of people they employ and everything. And secondly, it's not like they haven't made 40K, so they only made 28K. So if you do the math, that means if they were to break even, they are looking at 398, 376, 000, blah, blah, that. So $14K per car. That is highly unlikely, I think. It is probable, it's possible, but I think it's not very probable, given how inefficient Tesla is producing cars at the moment, at least. So one thing we must pay attention to is this. Sunny Monroe is a fairly established guy in the dismantling of, well, he takes apart cars and he does tear downs and analyze costs. He thinks that Model 3 potentially have a 30% profit. But his definition of profit does not include warranty, does not include R&D, does not include depreciation. So it's labor and parts only. So he thinks it's doable with 30%, but given Tesla's efficiency, I doubt it will get there. And he said it is 30% on long-range rear-wheel drive. So if you're looking at performance version, which they started selling, could potentially be more. But it's something that we have to keep our eyes on. But I don't think Tesla would achieve it in Q2. So anyways, so assuming this thing goes to zero, right? Despite all the odds, they made 14,000 cash per car, which is quite a feat because think about their average selling price maybe 60K, right? So if you look at 14 over 60, you are looking at 23% cash on the car. That's highly unlikely, I would say. Anyways, on top of that, they shipped in a bunch of robots by air. So that's a lot of money. The second thing they did is they set up this tent, that tent over there. So that tent, we don't know how much it's going to be. Potentially hundreds, $16 million, I think. See if they say anything about cost. Not entirely sure, but probably be in the tens of millions, 60 million, maybe 50 million. Right, and then the other thing is they have 9% layoff. So that 9% layoff will go into operating activities cash flow. So let's think about how bad this is. You got how many people they laid off. They laid off Tesla layoffs 9%. Let's see. They say anything? No. Well, we can search here. So,
yes, so my first inclination was Anchors Away and Spice Cider.
What
Then
the
I
hell?
went over to Lowe's and opted
No. Go away. Don't tell me anything. Employees. Let's see. Employees. Don't remember. So I remember they had like 45K or something. But say 9% they laid off maybe 4,000. 4,000, I think, something like that. Yeah, 4,000. That is correct. So 4,000, and then you have this thing here that says average. Let's take it. Say everybody just get 2 weeks, and the average pay is 100K. That these are salary workers, right? So they specifically said they cut off the salary workers. So 2 weeks, that means 1/26th of annual compensation. So 100,000 divided by 26 times 4,000 workers. So let's just do millions. So divided by 1 million. So you're looking at 15 million. So that's not too bad. 15 million severance pay, maybe a little bit more, depending on maybe 15 to 20 million. So that's that. And then you got cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. Here we go. Yeah, so that would come in here. And then in terms of investing activity, in here, in terms of investing activities, there'll be a bunch of these. Not quite sure how much, but that's these guys. And then a bunch of the tent. So not entirely sure how much that might be. Maybe 500 million, possibly. Not quite sure. So they might lose another 500 million here. They will lose some money here, say 0. Assuming they do get 14K cash per car, they would be looking at 500 million less, and then they have to pay the thing that came due, which is $2.6 billion, which is around, I think, payable. Sorry, yeah, payable is around here. Yeah, $2.6 billion. So I wonder where they have the cash. Like the 2.6 has to be paid. They will owe some more money. That money that is owed will be approximately the same as their inventory, and it is true that Tesla will get paid faster for the stuff they actually sell than their suppliers get paid. So that is true. But again, you have this thing around here. People have been noticing Tesla stockpiling Model 3s in various locations in California. It might be fully intentional because they want to avoid the tax credit expiration. So they really want to go to, like, exactly one less than the cutoff, and then go into Q3 and Q4, shipping out a lot of cars and taking advantage of the full $7,500 tax credit. But with that in mind, that means the cash situation for Tesla will be extremely tight. I am more or less pulling number out of my ass. I think they will go to under $1 billion by June 30th. The other things, so that's cash, and the other thing that I want to pay attention to when they release the numbers is gross margin for Model 3. So for Model S and X, we know we know the gross margin most because it was the same number of production, probably very similar number of production delivery as before, and there's a lot of historical data on how much money they made on these cars, or how much gross profit they made on these cars. So if we take that out, we can kind of deduce the gross margin on Model 3. But the problem is that for Tesla, they built the tent, they built another line in June, I think. So that will skew the numbers quite a bit, because if you imagine a straight line depreciation for the old assembly line, it will be like flat until sometime later in June, it will suddenly jump because of the new line and the tent, and then go down, and then kind of keep going. So there'll be like a step function. So you don't know exactly how much depreciation there is per day. So that's kind of unfortunate. Yeah, so that is what I would be watching for in the Tesla's earning report. I am still short the company. I considered closing my short because of this report specifically, because if Tesla makes 30% on each Model 3, when you consider the cost being only parts and labor, that is quite lucrative. You can potentially get something like 15 15K, if you set 50K and then you take 30%, that's 15K. So 15K per card, that's quite a bit of cash. And all you need to do at that point is to just make, say, if they do 5K a month, and 5K a week, and then 12 weeks in a quarter, that is 1 to 3, 1 to 3, 1 to. So 900 million. That would be $900 million in additional cash flow, or in cash per for Model 3 alone. So that would change the equation quite a bit. But obviously, that still doesn't justify the valuation because what you're gonna get, you're gonna get your net margin maybe 10% or something, and so out of this you have to like divide it by 3 to get the actual profit. Right, so you're looking at 300 million per quarter, 1 billion. That just gives you 1 billion a year, 1.2, and the current market cap is 50. So you're still looking at a 30x, 33x, 36x per earnings for the market cap. So, but 36x is at least not a ridiculous PE, or it's not a ridiculous valuation. So if they are actually able to achieve 30% at some point, either this quarter or next quarter, and then I will probably just close my short. It's going to be hard to calculate though, because you have to back out all the depreciation. It's not that easy. I'll see what I can do, and yeah, this company is quite crazy. So the other thing that people have been paying attention to is how Musk has been going crazy on Twitter. I'm not too concerned, except that he asked for money back from his suppliers. That is quite crazy. And the other thing that I think is very, very underhanded is that he tried to screw with Montana Skeptic, which is a short seller. And he called the guy's employer and threatened to sue, and according to Montana Skeptic. And Tesla did not decline that. So I assume that was true, and that it's very underhanded. I don't like that. Yeah, but overall, I'm still short the company, and let's see what happens on Wednesday. And good night. See you next time.